probably heard about Apple. They're a startup company that's been around for a few years, not too big of a following. Okay, anyway, we all know Apple. Some of us love Apple, some of us hate Apple, and some of us just don't give a crackerjack about Apple. One of their biggest innovations, though, kind of what put them on the map, was announced when Steve Jobs got on that stage January 9th, 2007 at 9:41 in the morning and revealed the first ever iPhone. It was the first of its kind. It was an iPod, a camera, a web browser, a phone, all in one sleek package. Nowadays this is normal, but way back when, the fact that this thing could play music, search the web, take photos, make phone calls and stuff was incredible. And essentially, that's still what the iPhone does, even today. It takes photos and videos, it surfs the web, it plays music and works great for phone calls and texts, and so does pretty much every other smartphone on the planet. So what's the big deal with iPhones year over year? Well, let's rewind a bit.
And we are calling it iPhone.
Okay, not that far. Let's go to the iPhone 4. This thing was pretty cool. I remember as a kid seeing an adult in my church with this phone and thinking it was the coolest thing ever. The design has greatly improved over the original few iPhones, and the new iPhones are very reminiscent of that. It gave us the A4 chip, which was clocked at a higher speed than before. It was also the first time the iPhone had received an upgrade on its display, with a larger pixel density to the point to where the pixels finally disappeared, the Retina display. Better mics were added, and RAM was increased to an overwhelming 512 megabytes. Crazy, huh? There was so much more too. In 2010 when this came out, Microsoft, Google, BlackBerry, and Palm didn't know what to do. Apple jumped the game with this phone. Okay, let's fast forward a little bit more to the first iPhone SE. This sleek looking device looks like the first ever iPhone to be announced in Apple's new September events that we all now know and love, the iPhone 5 from 2012. But here's the thing, don't judge a book by its cover. The iPhone SE took the body of the 5 with the guts of the 2014 iPhone 6S. The 6S was a much larger screen than the previous size iPhones and introduced a Plus model as well as an even more substantial screen. But the iPhone SE doesn't care too much about the screen size. This was for those who wanted the upgrade without the screen jump. The iPhone 6S and SE also introduced Apple Pay and as well as the late 3D Touch. Rest in peace. As well as a better camera, this was another big year for Apple. The 6S and SE were almost the perfect phone. They were speedy, you finally had size options, great cameras, and battery. It was almost the perfect device. Apple had come a long way from the iPhone in 2007, but they still had a long way to go. Fast forwarding a few more years, the 2018 iPhone XR. This was the first budget model iPhone released in a while among Apple's flagships. Also, second year in a row to feature Apple's newest overhaul. See, back in 2017 for Apple's 10-year anniversary, after releasing the very familiar iPhone 8 series, Apple shocked everyone with a completely new device. Not just another iPhone, but the iPhone of iPhones. This thing had a massive screen to body ratio, ditched the old and tired home button that we've been staring at for like 10 years with forehead and chin, and they put all of that into a notch, introducing the one and only Face ID, which is just a gem to use. Also giving us that full screen design on a much larger display than we've seen before, along with those sleek stainless steel side rails. Did I mention the screen was OLED too? It's pretty great stuff. Anyway, back to the XR. This was 2018's offering of a budget model iPhone. It had the same look as the previous year's iPhone X, as well as the X's older brothers, the XS, and the new, large and in charge XS Max. The XR featured some fun colors for the first time since the iPhone 5C. This phone was awesome. It kept the important features of the X, XS, and XS Max, but it slacked in places that weren't as vital to the phone. This phone's screen size was also the new middle ground of screen sizes. Apple's first time releasing 3 different size options in a year. Well, I guess the 8, 8 Plus, and 10 was the first, but anyways, these were different. This phone lacked the stainless steel sides, giving us the old aluminum sides that were matched to the back glass of the phone. It also replaced the OLED with a not as good, but also still great, liquid retina LCD display, as well as trading the dual camera system for a not as good, but still great camera system, single camera system. Yet, they are still included the beautiful screen design, Face ID, even the same A12 Bionic chip inside, compared to where Apple was all the way back in 2007, and even compared to the last model with fun colors, 2013's iPhone 5C. This is a huge leap. These devices are still an iPod, a web browser, a phone, all at its core. But now, these things are our main web browser, everyone's only camera pretty much, everyone's favorite music player and speedy texting machine. But from 2007 to now, they've taken what works and made it even better. Now, it's like having a supercomputer in your pocket. Okay, last time, I promise. But let's jump forward a couple more years to everyone's favorite year, 2020. I hate this. Funny, I know. The iPhone 12 series was another redesign, but not as big as the jump from the 6, 7, 8 design with the forehead and chin to the 10 with its full screen design, the controversial notch, but this time it was a tad more subtle. Instead of having the rounded sides, we now have something more reminiscent of Apple's iPhone 4s and 5s. All the models now have OLED screens. All have at least 2 cameras, and even the lowest models now have 4 gigs of RAM, compared to Apple's 2007 iPhone that featured a whopping 128 megabytes of RAM, even though the core use of Apple's iPhones have stayed the same. Well, I guess the core use of all phones. This technology has substantially increased over the years. My phone now has 6 gigs of RAM compared to the iPad I'm using as my daily productivity device, which only has 4 gigs of RAM. My phone camera can use its LiDAR scanner and make an entire 3D model of whatever room I'm in. With these OLED HDR, Dolby, Atmos, Vision, whatever screens, certain pixels can actually turn themselves off and make the screen all the way black, making the black super inky, and that's really nice. The speakers on my 12 Pro Max are incredible. I don't need a Bluetooth speaker anymore. My phone is loud enough as it is. iPhones have gone from a 3.5-inch screen to a 6.5-inch screen, and now some Samsung phones are even up to 6.9, and some of them even fold. Technology is fun and crazy and constantly changing. Thank you so much for taking this trip down memory lane with me. I had a lot of fun with this one, and I learned a lot of new things when I was working on this script. Thank you to my wife for suggesting this video I had to get to me. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe, ring that bell so that you never miss a video and you never miss a new upload. I'm trying to upload twice a week now. So if you didn't like this video, why are you still watching? I expect to see all of your negative comments in the description. Comments, yeah. But you can still hit that like button if you want. It'd mean a lot to me. Anyway, check me out on my socials. I have Patreon as well. As always, I'm Jake. This is Shot on My Phone.